It just running one pulse right now. This is input current going to the primary. We're running 40 milliamp, and it's kind of pre-saturated, so this is playing a factor. This tube has a little bit of leakage the way it's currently set up. This ammeter is off of the center tap to the cathode, and then both legs of the transformer output are through the mirror diodes forward facing and both go to the cell. Current probe is reading both at the same time. Amplitude differential across the cell for channel 1. So I'm try to add a couple more pulses here. You see the behavior starts to occur. But watch what happens down here as I add them. So current through the 6-to-1 step down is much higher than the input current because we're doing a step down. So input current's right about 50. If we shut off the signal, it drops to 40. But as I turn up, right about here, so you see the voltage climbs on the amplitude, the amperage increases through the cell as I add more pulses, which would be expected. But the amperage going through the primary behaves differently. So now, see, watch, I will add pulses. It takes them away here to start over. So yes, it increases a little bit to add so many, and then as I add more than that, it starts going down. And meanwhile, current's increasing over here, but only to a certain threshold. It won't go past 200 here in this case, depending on the tuning. But this is a spot where, let me bring it back down, a spot where I get that nice ring down on the tail. It looks like a fish wave. And levels are looking pretty good. Pretty good output for what I had been getting so far with this setup. Neon bulb on there, 400 volts to the primary. But if we drill into the fish here, what we think is a fish, see what's actually happening. At certain spacings, first off, we can see a ramping effect during the off time, a double frequency. And then as off time is reduced, more of that off time frequency can be constructively harvested. But we also see amplitude phase almost change in a sense along with current. So these both appear to like saturate out over time, what would normally be saturation, but it doesn't appear to be in this case. It appears to just be the way it's behaving. Just after that certain threshold, we've got some spikes there, and it starts ramping. And you notice because we've got the squiggle here on the ring down, as I adjust off time or on time, I can find the best spot for that to exist, which isn't directly related to the stepping. Voltage still seems to only go to some predetermined threshold relative to the input, perhaps. almost all the way in. We've got pretty good current, 200 there. Input current has gone down, as you'll see from the saturation point. I turn it off, current goes up. So you can see on, down, up. Almost 10 milliamps, negative 10 milliamps during the on time cycle. That's this particular tuning.